Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast, Episode 30.
Welcome to the Out of Order Podcast, your window into the firearms community, exploring those shaping the future of our rights and protecting our lifestyle, laws, legal cases, activism, and self-defense in a candid and honest podcast for our brothers and sisters in arms. Here's your host, James Cericola.
Thank you for tuning in to the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast, Episode 30. Show notes page today will be outoforderjamescalita.com/30. Today's sponsors are Audible, where you can get 2 books for free. Just go to today's show notes page. You'll see a link there for Audible. We've talked about more than 50 books on this podcast, and many of them are available free if you are not already an Audible member. Also, Liberty Classroom, where you get the history and economics they didn't teach you in high school. Some really great courses on that site, and follow my affiliate link through there. You help out the show without any additional cost to yourself. Also, there's Amazon affiliate links on the show notes page. If you shop through those links, you'll help out the show with no additional cost to you. And of course, you could always support the show by becoming a member of Patreon, either one-time or monthly donation to help keep the lights on and the hosting up for this podcast. Mentioned last time, we're going to start giving away free ads. So if you know of an organization, whether it's a chapter of National Federation of Turkey Hunters or Pink Pistols or can't think of the name, Project Appleseed, women's group, children's group, anything like that, if they're having a banquet, class, event coming up, shoot me an email, send me a call, and we will mention it on the show. Today's guest is Katie Cericola. Katie is the host of the Millennial Minute, and she has been a writer and a contributor to SaveJersey.com. And now, here's Katie.
Katie Cericola, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, Katie, you recently started a blog called the Millennial Minute. Would you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So I started the Millennial Minute because I felt like there really wasn't a lot of young conservative voices out there. And I feel like, people of older generations tend to lump all the millennials in as, granola crunching liberals when it couldn't be farther from the truth, in my opinion. So I just thought if I got a camera and had a few clicks, I could do my part and spread the message of smaller government and show that young people are conservative too. And to be honest, the response I've gotten could not be more positive. People come up to me like old teachers, classmates, people I haven't seen in years when I'm running errands in town, and they say, Katie, I love your take on the bag tax, or, things like that. And sometimes people disagree with me, but it's definitely started a conversation. So I feel like it's very positive.
Yeah, and that is something I noticed. That people tend to assume that the entire younger generation is not conservative. But aside from yourself, do you find that your peers?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I was part of College Republicans, and then I met some people from my town and from the surrounding area where I live back home that were also conservative. So I was able to join Bergen County Young Republican Club, and I met so many great people that have similar views as me. So it's nice to discuss things with them and, keep up with the news and what's going on in the world.
Great. And so what are some of the topics you've covered on the, I don't know, do we call it a podcast, or I guess a blog, right? A blog?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
We just covered the bag tax, the plastic bag tax in New Jersey. It's mainly focused on New Jersey issues, sometimes national topics like gun control. We had one about addiction today. That's a pretty popular topic lately. Trying to think what other ones we had. We did some on energy and, the Free College Act that Phil Murphy is passing for illegal immigrants, free community college. So just current events. We try to keep it current. We're thinking about doing one about the sports gambling in New Jersey sometime soon, because that's pretty recent.
Right. And so in New Jersey, what's your take on the gun control situation that's going on in New Jersey right now?
So I think it's a pretty important issue. I mean, it goes back to the essence of what America is. So, I mean, I think that the laws are very strict in New Jersey, and I think sometimes in the media it gets misconstrued where people think you can just walk into a gun store and take a gun home that day, which is clearly not the truth. So I'm a big fan of deregulation, and yeah, so I think it's pretty strict in New Jersey. I mean, we don't have concealed carry like some other states. I think that's a bit of an issue.
Right. And so are you still writing for SaveJersey.com?
Yeah, I still do some articles and some Millennial Minutes run on there. So.
Great. Good. And you're also vice chair of the Center for Economic Growth?
Yeah, so the Organization for Economic Growth, it's a new PAC that was started maybe about 6 months ago, and we're just big on business growth in New Jersey because there's so many opportunities, and New Jersey doesn't always reward businesses, small businesses especially. So we're trying to help with policies that can reward businesses and make people want to stay in New Jersey, businesses, people, residents. So that's what we've been up to.
Oh, great. And so do you have any advice for maybe the older generation that tends to see the millennial generation as being way to the left?
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, I think they shouldn't assume that all millennials are liberal. I mean, I know with the Obama administration, that was a big movement for millennials, young people. They got really energized by President Obama, but I also think the Trump generation is energized too. And, liberal millennials can just tend to be a little bit louder. I think a lot of conservatives are busy working, and they're not always, screaming in the streets because someone that got elected that they don't like, is now the president.
Okay. Right. Let's see. So the Economic Development Organization, what plans do you guys have? How do you plan on achieving those goals?
So we're planning to get involved in some local elections and maybe help influence some local politicians and local races, because we think, like a grassroots movement is the way to go. And, get our ideas out there about small businesses and jobs in New Jersey, things like that.
Okay, great. And so I always ask my guests if there are any books they recommend for usually gun owners, but anything liberty related or that you might recommend that everybody reads?
I mean, it's a little cliche, but The Art of a Deal by Donald Trump is a good one.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good book. Yeah. Right. And where can people find you online?
So my Facebook page is just facebook.com/minutewithkatie. And we also have a website it's just millennialminutewithkatie.com.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, so we're trying to post as much content, keep everyone in the loop, and try to be as quick as possible with things that are happening in New Jersey.
Oh, great. And so for the people in New Jersey that are kind of struggling, I know it comes up a lot in my conversations where people think, what, we should just leave. Do you have any thoughts on that, voting with your feet versus staying and fighting?
Yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I said that my family hasn't considered leaving the state these days. It's pretty tough, but I mean, that's why I'm getting involved. I'm trying to use my voice to make a change. And I know we see with these elections, whether they're primaries or, elections in November, not a lot of people in New Jersey are getting out there to vote. So, I mean, I think that's, your first action that you should be doing if you do love this state. I mean, there's so many great opportunities in this state. You know, we have the greatest beaches, we have mountains, we have the city so close by, you know, Philadelphia, New York City. So it is a shame that I think people are getting pushed out, but I think that, you know, people shouldn't give up just yet.
Yeah. So definitely getting out there and vote. Any other advice you have for folks that are planning on sticking around and fighting?
I mean, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, you know, just staying involved and, you know, maybe going out and seeing what you can do for local politicians, or, you know, just going out and talking to people. I think a lot of the time we don't really pay attention to local politics or local news. So I think that could be a good thing, is to just get involved and see, you know, what you can do to help what you want to see happen in New Jersey.
Okay, great. And I will definitely put the links to your website and the Facebook page on the show notes page. And
yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. Any parting thoughts for our listeners?
No, just keep up with the Millennial Minute, keep fighting the good fight, and that's about it.
Great. Well, Katie, I thank you very much for coming on the show and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thanks for tuning in to the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast. Please head over to the show notes page, outoforderjameskalita.com/30 for links to the Millennial Minute, our sponsors, and if you think of anyone that could use some help promoting their upcoming event, shoot me an email, outoforderjameskalita.com, and we'll see you next time.